right, it's really cool to see a garden transition like that from swimming pool to beautiful pond and all sorts of beautiful plantings. Thanks for sharing your space with us. Right now we're going to be talking about pond care for summer and some cool plants for your ponds. Joined by Steve Kainer from Hill Country Water Gardens and Nursery. Welcome back to the show, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it feels like we've been here for decades
right?
doing this. It's always great to have you on the program. You've brought some really cool plants. I want to dive in, so no pun intended, but talk about some of these different plants. And you've brought some things that make great additions to ponds to really kind of counterpoint the lilies, I think, right?
Right. You know, I brought some marginal plants today, and I tried to grab a few when I was at the nursery that are a little different. You know, the ones that you don't always see. You know, everyone knows kind of umbrella palm and pickerel rush and you know, maybe water canna and such, but I brought a few new ones, starting with the taro.
Right, now this is a striking color.
Really cool. It's a new hybrid. It's called Yucatan Princess. I love the glossy green, the top of the leaf, and then the violet stems are really cool, really striking.
Yeah. And this is a great architecture for the plant, rising up above the pond, and again, counterpointing the kind of the surface plants like the lilies.
Absolutely. I'd love to take that plant and kind of put it in kind of a ceramic pot like we did here on the stage.
Yeah.
And you can keep it above the water line that way. And yeah, it really makes a cool vertical presence.
Right. Well, again, you know, ponds can have a whole variety of plants, and this is a great addition to them. You also brought a form of cattail here that's got some
that's a variegated cattail. It's been around a while, but it's something I encourage my customers when they're, you know, what else should I do with this? Because everyone goes with the broadleaf plant, something like that. Like throw something like this in, throw a vertical plant in. That's really cool. And
it's very graceful. It's got some nice coloration, and it really looks beautiful next to this papyrus.
Yeah, the dwarf papyrus is really, it looks really cool in the lighting today for sure.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it is a little tropical. A lot of people may have lost it this last winter.
Yeah.
But it's a neat plant, and it's a great seller for me.
Well, and speaking of cool forms, this corkscrew plant here is just really kind of amazing. It's a rush, right?
It is. It's a juncus. This is corkscrew rush. I think one of the coolest. I mean, whatever, it speaks for itself, right?
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely beautiful, and corkscrew sums it up really neatly. You know, again, really striking. You also brought another rush that has this beautiful kind of bluish glaucous color to it.
Blue rush. So again, a great almost evergreen for us. It may be this last winter, but most of the time it's going to stay evergreen for you. Looks great. I like to bump it into a larger pot in the pond, and it makes a huge spray. So it looks really neat.
I love the fine texture. And it looks neat and tidy. It's really great. Next to it is arrowhead, which is one that a lot of people use.
This is this is a neat arrowhead. This is Montedavensis sagittaria. Has a really cool kind of black eyed Susan sort of inside the bloom there. Really neat, and it'll get by the end of summer it could stand 2 feet tall and maybe get 6 or 8 inch pads on it or leaves on it.
Well, it's super cool plants all, and again, you can just visualize looking at them here in the studios how they would play out in a pond with the reflections and the counterpoint there. Now, summer is a time when you really get to enjoy the ponds so much more, I think. But algae can be a problem during the summer. I want to talk a little bit about algae control. You brought 2 different batches of stuff. There's organic approaches now, right?
The organic is what we always try to encourage our customers to go with first. I brought the barley straw. It's a really neat product. It's more of a preventative. It's not an algicide by any means. It's if you will start this in your pond and keep this in your pond. Remember when you used to have a pond, it was one of your favorite products every year.
Yeah.
And as it breaks down, it kind of creates peroxides, natural peroxide that help to prevent the growth of algae. I've been selling that product for 18 years, and people keep coming back for it. So that tells me that it's working. It does a great job.
And their Pond Perfect is another organic product.
It is. It's a living bacteria that really helps eat organic matter in the pond. And the whole hope here is that if we break down the organics in the pond, then the algae won't have anything to grow from.
And the other products really are kind of like last-ditch efforts in case if you haven't done the other things and it's gotten out of control.
Exactly. And sometimes, you know, you just need a little extra. And the Green Clean and the algae whey that are brought, Green Clean is an oxidizer. And it actually, you could sprinkle it right onto like hair algae and you'll see it activate on it really quick, which people like to see some instant gratification.
Right.
And then the algae whey is a copper sulfate based product. It's safe for the, you know, the environment and everything like that, used according to its dosage. And but it definitely works, and especially clearing the water.
Now, you know, one of the cool things about your shop is you're always putting on classes and teaching people about ponds. That's if they have questions, just wait for the classes to come around.
We do. We try to cover, and a lot of them, you know, it's starting to get monotonous to us. But every year, you know, people come again and again. So it's
they're newbies all the time, right?
Exactly. So yeah, we have events every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
We do seminars. And either on some sort of nursery talk or pond talks.
Well, and another great way that people can learn about ponds is by touring, and we have a great pond tour here in Austin every summer.
You know, Austin, I think, has one of the coolest pond societies, and I travel quite a bit, and I'll go see other places and ponds and talk to their, but Austin's got a great group, and they have a great ponds to see when you're out and about.
Right, and it's, the tour is coming up on early June, I think the 3rd and 4th, and so people can get out and avail themselves of that, or, like I said, stop by the nursery.
Love to have them stop by.
Okay, well, I want to continue because in addition to talking about controlling algae, there's another thing that people do during the summer, and that is fertilize their lilies. And these pellets work really, really well.
They are the best way to do it. Water lilies are heavy feeders. They really need a lot of nutrients. And if you don't fertilize, you'll really get kind of smaller plants, smaller blooms with the fertilizer, much bigger blooms and a deeper hue to your bloom.
Yeah, well, the deep color is what everybody's looking for.
Right.
And so, and I understand there may be a purple variety that's coming up.
There is a purple hardy that's coming out now. Hopefully it'll be available later this summer.
It's one of the holy grails, I think, for
that's right.
water lilies. Speaking of water lilies, you brought some really cool ones for us to kind of look at, and this is one that you're really big on. Tell me about this particular variety.
I really love this lily. This is Pink Sparkle. She is one of the first to bloom in the spring, one of the first hardies to bloom. I love the dark green. It's very classic, dark green pad. And very, I wish she would have stayed open for me, but they don't like they like to be outside.
Right.
And when she was open this morning, just bright, bright pink.
And when you say starting early, a lot of the lilies will actually start the first warm days, like sometimes even in January.
A lot of the tropicals will bloom all the way through, depending on how warm we stay. But the hardies they're waiting till 1st of April before they'll start pushing, and then they want that longer day and warmer nights.
I remember I had Colorado lilies, which are very common, but boy, do they just produce
much like Pink Sparkle. The Colorado is that big salmon pink that is an early bloomer. Right.
Okay, so that's why I remember it being early. Another plant you brought over here is, sometimes some of these plants just look so bizarre to me. You know, it's like they look alien almost. But this one, really striking foliage, and the underside of the leaves is even more spectacular.
Yeah, that is Foxfire. It is a tropical that came out a couple years ago. And it has a beautiful, I wish I had one blooming today. It's just still a little early, but it has a really big lavender, dark kind of lavender with a yellow-white center, and it's striking plant. Lots of petals, and then, like you said, the maroon leaf when it comes out, and then the underleaf is almost kind of looks like digital camo there. It's it's really cool looking.
Yeah, no, you know, and to keep your plants healthy, do you feed them throughout the summertime?
Yeah, we start April 1 and religiously at least once a month. That tropical, you could fertilize every 2 to 3 weeks if you wanted to.
Really, just getting them really push them.
Yes.
Well, this is all great stuff, and people can visit you out in Cedar Park, easy to find, and again, classes every single weekend during the spring.
Pretty much, yes, yeah.
So always a great place to visit, and I just love what you've done with the nursery as well. It's like an experience to go, and it's not just the ponds, it's the whole garden setting that you've created, so it's really cool. Thanks, as always, for being on the show, Steve.
Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
All right, and coming up next is Daphne.